The following is a Papi Chulo Radio original program. The views and opinions expressed in the commentaries and/or interviews in the following program are solely those of the individuals and are not views of Papi Chulo Radio, its parent, affiliate, or subsidiary companies.
Welcome to Are You Afraid Cult, the unofficial American Horror Story Cult podcast, a PapiChuloRadio.com original series, Papi Chulo Radio, Pop Culture on Demand. Today is Wednesday, October 25th, 2017, and I'm your host, Jeffrey Aruz. During this podcast, we're going to recap, review, and dissect the latest episode of the FX series, American Horror Story Cult. Please welcome my co-hosts, Madison Fitzpatrick.
Hey guys.
Mark Estes.
Hello, hello, hello.
And Priscilla Rocha.
Hey everybody.
Alright, let's get into it. Let's jump into our recap of Season 7, Episode 8, which was titled Winter of Our Discontent, and aired October 24th, 2017. Here's the official synopsis of the episode. Kai proposes to Winter that she be impregnated with the Messiah. Kai introduces to the cult their latest member. Alright, what was everyone's initial reaction to the episode? And I know he's got a lot of feels, so Mark, you're first.
Why you do that? I was waiting for Priscilla and Madison to go first.
Well, because I know you're very passionate about this episode, so.
Well, just when I thought the American Horror Story could not get any more batshit crazy, I mean, yeah, it was balls to walls bonkers. And boy, I know I will never listen to a certain song the same way again. So that's all y'all take it away.
There you go. But not everyone's balls could go to the walls. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah. Some people had issues. Madison, since you chimed in, what about you? What was your initial reaction to the episode?
Well, I watched this episode with my dad.
Oh.
So the whole time I'm like, I swear I'm never going to watch this again.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yeah, you see what I did? Uh-huh. No, it was just like so much stuff was happening that I couldn't comprehend or wrap my head around. You know, Allie grew some balls and she's no longer the Sarah Paulson that screams and cries at everything. So that was nice. But other than that, shit is going down. And it's getting a little hectic.
Okay. Priscilla, what about you? What did you think of Winter of Our Discontent?
I feel like there comes a point in cults where everything gets like all crazy and just weird, and you hear like these rituals that like make no sense. You see that people are dying or just like things happen that as an outsider you're like, well, why did this happen? Like organization-wise or just as a rational human being, why would you ever do something like this? And this is about where it is in the scheme of things in cult. So it's very, I don't know, disorganized. Like the episode itself was very haphazard. Like things didn't make sense sometimes, and like I don't know, like Madison, I don't know how you watched it with your dad,
I know, right?
The bed scene that would have wow, that would have
The whole
done.
time my dad was like, what? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't
Just don't ask
know.
me questions.
Yeah, I was like, just gonna stare at the TV, hope it all goes away.
But yeah, it's American Horror Story. It's about and reaching its like zenith of craziness right about now.
Yeah. It was a crazy episode. It was an interesting episode. I sure as fuck would not be watching this with either of my parents. So props to you, Madison Fitzpatrick, and um, the comfort level that you have up in Canada to watch American Horror Story with your dad. Um, yeah, it was a lot. It was whoa. It had all of, I guess, the different tropes that American Horror Story brings, and it was all up in your face this time. And I'm not gonna lie, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a step up from Valerie Solanas and all of that stuff from last week. So I felt like we were, like got back to form with this episode, and we definitely have a lot to unpack and to discuss. So we're gonna get into that, but before we get into a thorough recap of the latest episode of American Horror Story Cult, here's our announcer with a few special announcements.
Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through Apple Podcasts and Google Play. Just search for Are You Afraid? Cult, and subscribe.
Thank you. All right, let's start off at the very beginning. A very good place to start. So we're at Kai's house, and Rudy Vincent shows up. And Rudy congrats his brother on his win. And Rudy is like, I had no idea that Allie was going to be involved and all this kind of thing. And Kai sort of like chastises Rudy a little bit for like not visiting him in the hospital, but he sort of understands because of Allie being his patient, and it would have looked weird, or questions would have been asked. And so Rudy says he's proud of Kai and what he's accomplished, and that Kai wants to make a difference. And so Rudy starts, sprinkling seeds that he would like to help Kai take his message nationally, coast to coast. And he even offers helping him sort of creating, I guess, like viral video type of stuff to be posted on social media. And it seems as if the brothers have come to a good place. And so they hug, and Kai basically demands Rudy, from here on out, please address me as councilman. So, let's start off by talking about this opening scene, and let's break this down a little bit, because I think a theory that we've all had at certain points is the idea that Rudy is somehow involved with the cult. And we got the answer to that in this scene, in my opinion. So, Priscilla, what did you think of the opening scene with Kai and Rudy?
I felt so happy that my one theory of the brother not being part of the cult was true. I was like, yes, finally, there's one soul here that was innocent, that was actually proven innocent this entire time. And I don't know, like him trying his best to be like a good brother, like I didn't believe that. I'm like, you know your brother and you know like all the crazy shit that's going down like throughout the city and you know what's been associated in his name. So you don't have any suspicions about what's been going on with your brother, none at all. None at all with Allie. Like that kept like beaten down in the back at the back of my mind while watching this.
I like that. Definitely good questions to ask because you would think, since he's a therapist, a psychologist, psychiatrist, whatever, like that he would have picked up on things. So that's a little odd. Mark, what about you? What did you think of Rudy and Kai?
I co-sign everything that Priscilla just said. I was one of the ones who felt that Rudy had something to do with it. I was proven wrong. But on the same token, like Priscilla just said, but all the shit that Allie was talking about, but then again, you have to ask yourself, did they even see the clowns and the holes and stuff like that? Because we know that the murders took place and that some of them were filmed, but the news networks never released any of the information. So I don't know, but I was glad to see that. Excuse me, that really didn't have anything to do with it. However, I kind of was a little bit taken aback when he said he wanted to help Kai, and so I was like, I was kind of, but I was going ahead of the show. I was kind of upset about that because I'm like, okay, but you're still gonna be, even though you're not involved, you're still gonna put your foot in the shit regardless. So I'm like, okay, fuck you, Rudy. So
Wow,
if you
poor
give this
Rudy.
man, yeah, because at that time I was like, nah, fuck you, because you see an opportunity to probably make this a monetary thing for you. You know what I'm saying? It will help you with your business. I think he even uttered that. He said, do you not know that what you're doing has been sending more people into my office, and so this helps out everybody. So I'm like, wow, fuck you, Rudy. But yeah,
Madison?
It didn't surprise me that he didn't know what Kai was doing because I felt that he was very, like sometimes he would just play the dumb card and it was like, really, you don't know really what's going on. I don't know. So it didn't really surprise me that he actually didn't know, but the fact that he was like, oh, I'm going to help you, he's just covering his ass so Kai doesn't, go crazy on him. And that was his fault to do that, to like believe that Kai wouldn't actually hurt him or double cross him or whatever. They did that whole thing with their parents. Like we see how crazy they both are,
yeah,
but at the same fact that he will do things to cover his own ass. Like you said, oh, I'm about to get my license or whatever in the office. Like people aren't going to come see me if they know that my parents just killed each other. Like, you know what I mean? So he's doing things to cover his own ass too. So he can lie to his brother and say whatever he wants. So it didn't surprise me that what happened in the episode happened.
Okay. I was on the train that Rudy was involved in some shape or form. I sort of like, because I'm a Gemini, so I was seeing like both sides of the argument. I was like, he's more than likely involved, but I do remember mentioning at some point that maybe he wasn't involved and Kai sort of like broke in and looked in his files and that kind of thing. And so that ended up making sense much later on in the episode. But I was more on the side of that he's involved, so it was a pleasant surprise that he wasn't involved. I actually like that. Listen, Ryan Murphy, prove me wrong. I'd rather you do that than, the season sort of like feeling very predictable. And that scene was, I thought it was a little revelatory because you could tell that even though Rudy was like, I'll help you, there was like hesitance in him as far as helping. So I didn't see the whole thing of like him maybe using that as a means to get monetary gain. Like, I saw it as, let me somehow get involved so that I can understand what you're trying to do, sort of thing. The whole line of like him, like, call me councilman, like, don't call me Kai or don't call me brother or anything like that. Like, that sort of gave him pause as well, and I think that's what sort of led him to do everything else that he did in the episode. So, continuing on, we're at the restaurant and the butchery on Main, I should say. And Ivy and Winter and Beverly are there cooking and serving. I don't know, what are we going to call them? Because they don't have a name yet. I don't know. The Kai,
henchmen.
The henchmen. The Kai Brotherhood.
The drones.
The drones. And they're getting
The bros.
harassed. The who?
Bros.
The bros,
The-
yes. The Kai bros. And they're getting harassed. They're getting berated, belittled by the bros. And they're kind of sick of it. And they're done with it. And Beverly basically is like, what happened to our plan to topple the patriarchy? I guess it died once Kai developed his bros. And she starts talking about Kai during the previous night's city council meeting, where basically Kai introduced his bros as an officially armed patrol for the city. And there was one councilman, Councilman Perry, that objected. But Kai basically threatened, without specifically saying, although the subtext and the text on top of the subtext was clearly evident, that Kai was threatening his daughters, and then all of a sudden his vote changed. And so now the bros, I guess, are a part of a secret, not even secret, a covert patrol of the city. I don't know. I guess they're going to be out there like the police, basically, doing whatever the hell Kai wants them to do. And so Beverly wants to kill Kai, basically. But Winter is like all for her brother, and Beverly's like, no, you're even expendable. Like, you think just because he's your brother, you're going to be expendable at the end of the day as well. And so Winter shares a story from 2 years ago, Halloween 2015, where she and Kai, they were in the dark web, and they were posing as basically conservative extremists, basically, sort of like, espousing biblical language to shut people down, basically. And so they get invited by this ultra-conservative religious leader via a direct message to the Judgment House. And so they thought it was, a haunted house type of thing, since it's Halloween. And so once they enter, they start going through a sequence of rooms. It was very for Mark, it was very No End House.
Very much so.
Yes. So they get thrust into room, to a room and another room, and you can't get out. The doors lock and all that kind of thing. And they're being watched by this pastor. And so the first room includes a woman who's being tortured for allegedly aborting her fetus. And then the other room has a junkie who's strapped down and is being forced to take his 3 drugs of choice until basically his insides turn to mush. And then the final room features a man who will get impaled by knives through his chest for basically being in an AIDS clinic. And so by the time they get to the third guy and they start to realize that this is real, this is not a haunted house, this is an actual torture chamber, Kai and Winter end up rescuing the man who is strapped down and is ready to get impaled by knives. And Pastor Charles is like seeing this through surveillance cameras, and he ends up attacking Winter as she's like trying to find a way out, and he ends up getting knocked out by Kai, and so they free the others. And when the pastor awakens, Kai has him strapped down in that chair with that was gonna impale the guy with the blades, and Kai sort of explains the insanity in what he was doing. He's like, this wasn't a woman that went to Planned Parenthood for an abortion. She went because she had a UTI, and the junkie was kidnapped from rehab. He was trying to get his life together, and the third man, he was volunteering at the AIDS clinic, and so Kai was trying to show, I guess, him the error in his ways, that he's whatever he was trying to do, the point was lost because he I guess was picking the wrong people, and it didn't really make any sense. He was judging people without knowing who the people were, basically. And so initially it seemed like they were going to call the police, but Kai was like, he needs the same justice done to himself. And so he presses the button, and the knives impale Pastor Charles, or Pastor Rick Springfield, whatever you want to call him. And so Winter says that it was at that moment that Kai became the dark person that he has become. He basically got the idea of burning everything down because he can't save everybody, so might as well just burn it all down and let it grow anew. So, that's also when he dyed his hair. So Winter's like, please, Kai is good. There's still goodness in him. And she says that she will stop him from going to the deep end. Kai will listen to her. Beverly doesn't believe it, but she says she'll give her a chance. But if Winter doesn't come through, then she will take the actions into her own hands if things don't change by the end of the week. So, let's pause right here and let's break it all down. Let's talk about the flashback to Halloween night 2015, and let's talk about the women and their current situation, and we got to talk about our girl Beverly. Ready to revolt. Madison?
Oh my god. All right. So them being in the kitchen and stuff, I was like, really? You didn't say no at first? Like, I could not see Beverly be like, oh yeah, like, whatever, I'll cook for them, whatever. No, I would have assumed that she would have been like, no, Kai, no, I'm not cooking for these slaves. Like, you know what I mean? I could totally see her saying no. And I was surprised that they actually did cook for them, to be quite honest, even like stoop that low. And it kind of showed me that they were like a little scared to say boo to him. But, as we see as the episode goes on, they tend to step up a little bit. But the whole flashback thing, okay, the pastor, who is he, like, actually, in real life?
Rick Springfield.
Yeah, okay, because in Supernatural, I'm pretty positive that he plays, like, Lucifer at one point in, like, last season. So the whole time I'm like, oh my god, I know him, I think so, I'm not too sure. And my dad's like, oh, that's Alice Cooper. And I'm like, what? I don't know.
No, it is not Alice Cooper.
I was like,
I thought it was Alice Cooper too, though.
Really?
He looked like Alice Cooper.
Oh my gosh, Rick Springfield is turning into Alice Cooper.
Yeah, I was like, what? So I was like trying to like watch the whole episode, but also trying to picture who he is and all this shit and stuff like that. But yeah, so the whole time that was going on, it was a little odd. It was a little weird.
Oh, it would have been so cool if it was Alice Cooper. Sorry. Now I wish it was.
Yeah. But just like the fact that, Winter and Kai didn't like freak out or whatever, how Kai was just like going through this like, okay, like this is cool, this is interesting. I'm like, it's not surprising. So I think this whole thing was literally like, I feel like Kai kind of saw it and was like, oh, like I could do something like this. Or it was easy for him to control people. Like, why can't I do that? Like, you know what I mean? So it totally made sense that this whole thing kind of started his whole change in humanity and stuff. But I'm surprised that it didn't really change Winter because she, like, I guess in the start of the season, right, she was totally like pro women, like pro human rights, like all this stuff. And then just to see her, like, I don't really know like what she does anymore, like who she is, because, you know, she was doing something and I can't remember, but I remember her saying, oh, I can't believe like I was at a women's march like 2 months ago or something like that. Like, you know what I mean?
Well, I
It's
think
just
because
like,
she was saying, like, I can't believe I'm serving these men, and I was at a women's
oh yeah,
march a couple
yeah,
months
like it
ago.
just, but and then at the
Oh,
same token,
and just a little note before you continue on. It gives us a little time frame on, like, when this is supposed to be, because the Women's March was in January, and
yeah,
this was 3 months later, so it's, like, about April.
yeah. So it's just like really weird. Like I don't really know like who she's supposed to be yet. I don't really understand her story anymore. Like I get Kai, but I don't get her. You know what I mean? And to me, she's kind of
Mm-hmm.
unpredictable at this point. So I'm not too sure. That kind of shed more light on how Kai became how twisted he is. But I feel like Winter still has so much under her belt that I don't understand. So
Okay, that makes sense. Priscilla, what about you? What did you think of the Judgment House and the current situation the women are in?
Man, the Judgment House is very Seven. It was very like these are your sins, so I'm going to punish you by like giving you like all that you want with your sin, like and more. Like and it's funny how like he took them all assuming that like this is who they were, that they were defined by being such and such, and like in all reality, no, like all of them were good people trying to just get like to live their lives, trying to get their lives together. Like a UTI does not an abortion make, and like so it's just it was I don't know, like the punishments were insane and fucking crazy, and you could hear from like the guy who was tied down and who was like about to be stabbed with the knives in the back. He's like, yeah, I'm about to die soon. Like it had sounded like he had given up on life already. Like everybody just sounded like it didn't matter how much they were going to beg and plead. Like nobody was going to listen to them. Nobody was going to understand. Like, and that felt sad. And like I think that was part like one of the sadder parts of that whole ordeal to me was how defeated they sounded. So that part in the end when they decided to kill the pastor, I was like, you know what? If you guys are gonna decide to do that, then good for you. Like, this guy does not deserve to live. That this is an awful thing that he did to you guys. So good on you. As for the women who like who are in the cult, man, I hate to like I hate to see them like that, but like what else did they expect was going to happen? Like Kai is leading like some sort of like this weird super like
SS?
conservative, yeah, super conservative SS, and like that usually doesn't end well for women ever. So what did they expect was going to happen? Like I don't know. So I'm hoping that something's gonna change about that, but in all reality, it's probably not.
All right, Mark, do you want to play a game?
Yes, I'll play a game with you.
Oh my gosh.
Two things.
Damn.
I was gonna say, a part of me felt like Winter was lying because this whole episode, it was her episode, kinda, but
Mm-hmm.
it was just the fact that she lied later on. You know what I'm saying? When they show,
Why you lying?
because she lied to save her ass, and she's trying to lie to save Kai's ass because the thing that got me was kind of like what Madison touched on. Like that didn't bother you at all? Like, the confession house, like that didn't bother you at all? Did y'all really get everybody to keep quiet to not go to the cops after what happened? Like, how did these people get, they were on the brink of death. So they had to go to a hospital somewhere. So some questions would have been answered. Now, they could have easily said we had to fight him back, in self-defense, though, but it's just like, yeah, but it seemed like something like that would have probably hit the news at least. I don't know. I just couldn't trust her when she told the story. I believed it early on in the episode as she was telling it, but then later on I was like, wait a minute, I don't know, because Winter seems the type that would just do anything. She's like her brother. She would do anything to get what she wants. And it also solidified to me how I always said that Winter and Bev were like the second tier of up under Kai's chain of command. Now I think that it's really just Kai and Winter. Beverly has fell a notch. You know what I'm
Aw,
saying?
Beverly.
I mean, because I think that Kai knows that Winter's terrified of him, but he also knows that Winter is not going to betray him, and that she's going to be fiercely loyal because out of fear for her damn life. Because he might not kill her per se, but he can ruin her life because she was involved with a lot of bullshit. And he could take her ass down if he needed to, and she couldn't do anything because his hands are always clean. So in that scene, it solidified to me that if anything, maybe Winter is actually the queen bee. Um,
Mm.
and that's probably why we had the events to lead up later in the episode. But I think that she's the queen bee. And yeah, but yeah, it was just the whole setup was like you guys said, it was very out of 7. But I'm like, that place had to smell like death when they when they walked up in there, all the blood and probably like other stuff that might have body fluid or anything like that might have been you know injected or anything like
Thank
that.
you for
But
painting a beautiful visual.
I just did a few strokes after what they did last night because that just was disgusting. Because I'm like, that woman is like wide open, and you could tell that I knew they were real people when they walked up in there. I knew there was no haunted house anything. I'm like, these are real people because where is everybody else at? It was just a haunted house and there've been a couple of people there, but it was just them.
No end
So
house.
no in house. But yeah, so I thought that it was crazy, and it also solidified that Winter and Ivy are now a couple, which I thought was sort of cute, but I was like, more reason to hate Ivy. I hope she gets a slow, torturous death. I pray she gets it.
Oh, please. I don't even listen to you. Don't listen, Madison. Because all of
What?
episode 1 and 2, he was loving him some Ivy. You know. Mm-mm.
Whatever.
You and Priscilla.
Priscilla gonna leave you hanging
Hashtag,
here?
hashtag,
I'm not saying anything because I don't want Ivy to die. So-
hashtag never forget.
I want
Oh my
this
God.
trick to die. I'm sorry.
Yes. Oh gosh. Okay, Judgment House, intense, crazy, very Saw, very Seven. Yeah, now I wish it was Alice Cooper because of y'all fuckers.
Yeah, like he was
He
in
looked just like-
Supernatural, and I was like, "What are you doing here?"
He looked just like Alice Cooper, but I did remember at the beginning of the episode that Rick Springfield was supposed to be in the episode. So I said, oh, that's Rick Springfield. And as Alice Cooper, as Pastor, whatever. That's what
There
it
you go.
was.
Yes, I like it. But Rick Springfield was really good as the pastor. It was just fantastic. And oh gosh, like the women, like last week, like did I mean, we had to suffer through Valerie Salinas, like, and y'all didn't learn anything from her. Like, oh, it was just so disappointing to like see them last week, sort of like reclaim their power. And it seemed as if, they were going to work together, and I don't know what they would have done, but they would have done something to sort of like shake up the current system. But no, like, they are the servants now. I mean, as much as I don't care for Ivy, she had that really great line of like, "What are we, the handmaids now?" So, and I was on Beverly's side. I was like, why are we waiting for anything? Like, you just kill Kai. Like, you take him out, and we'll continue on without him. But Winter. I hate that she sort of stopped everything. But I guess we'll get into a whole lot more about that a little bit later. Okay, so we learned that Allie has been committed to a psychiatric hospital for the past 3 weeks, and Rudy goes to see her, and basically he says that he believes her now. And so she's like, "You didn't believe me before," and this, that, or the other. And he realizes that Kai is dangerous, and he explains why he knows this. And he shows her a photo of his family, and then she realizes, like, your sister is fucking my wife, basically. And so now she knows the entire family connection. Rudy's the older brother, then it's Kai and baby sister Winter. And she also realizes, per what Rudy says, that Kai accessed Rudy's files on her, and Rudy basically is trying to be Allie's champion now. He's like, I 100% believe you. I will get my brother committed. I will figure out some way to do that. I will make sure that you are reunited with your son, and all that kind of thing. Let's continue on with this storyline, so that we can cover both sides of the coin. So later on in the episode, we see Allie in her kitchen, and there's a knock on the door, and it is Kai with two of his bros, and she basically says, I didn't invite you to kill you. I didn't invite you to threaten you. I'm here to give you some information. And initially, the bros are there to not only protect Kai, but to be his food tasters, so that he doesn't get poisoned. But she asks for a moment alone with Kai, and after her saying something like, are you scared of me? Are you scared of me? He sends his bros out, and she just wants a promise from Kai before she gives the information. She wants Oz back. She wants to have full custody of her son before she says what she has to say. And Kai is being coy, "Oh, you think I have the power? You think this, that, or the other?" But Allie's like, "I want my son back. If you want this information, I want my son back." And so she ends up telling him that Rudy intends to commit Kai. And she sort of explains what he wants to do and how he's going to try to do it. And Kai notices something different in Allie, and she explains that Kai was able to do what Ivy and what Dr. Rudy could never do, and that is cure her of her fears. And with that, Kai ends up eating his manwich. So, let's pause right here and let's break this down. Rudy and Allie and Kai. Priscilla?
I fucking love that Allie finally grew some balls and has stopped being whiny like crybaby Allie that has been annoying me for the past since the episode started. Since the episode started, I have not been on Team Allie because she's just been a pain in my ass forever. But this episode finally showed me that she's able to step it up for her family and notice that she didn't say I want my wife back. She just said I want my son back, which means that she's smart. She's realized that her wife doesn't want her. What what is important now is their son. And I don't know. I like that she didn't step down even when like the other like, the goons showed up, the bros, and I like that she did that. She um stood up for herself when Kai's brother was there and was like, "I'm sorry, I know, and I'm gonna try my best to commit him. I know." Like, and she didn't stoop down and say, "Well, okay, so long as we're gonna work together." Like, no, she didn't accept that at all, ever. And I liked that. I like this new Allie.
Mark, what about you?
I echo everything Priscilla just said. I was so glad because I thought that for sure that she was gonna be like locked up for good. You know, like for like at least
Briarcliff.
yeah. Hey, there you go. Because I don't think Brian
Oh my
Cook's
God,
too far for
imagine.
the red.
Imagine.
Yeah. So
Dominic.
I mean, because I was like so scared for her. I thought about how she was going to break out of jail to just get to where she to take down Kai. But I was also glad that she finally put everything together. Like when she said, it wasn't like she was like dumbfounded, like, "You're his brother," and then she just left it at that. Like she said, "No, you're his brother. Oh shit, you're the one who probably gave him all the information that is." She just everything, you just placed it all together. I mean, pieced it all together, and then she was like, "Well, okay, we'll do this." She listened to him, but I think that's when Allie was like, really, 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 like, enough is enough. I'm sick of everybody's bullshit. Let me put into order my plan. I'm finna put my plan on track. And I want to ask you guys something. Do you guys think that that scene took place before Rudy went to visit Kai and said he wanted to help them out?
That
No.
probably happened. That that probably happened. I think it happened before.
You
No,
think
I
it
think it
happened?
happened. No, I think it happened after because after he had the conversation with Kai, he realized what Kai was doing
Yeah, there you go.
and how fucked up he was, and then he went to Allie and was like, "Yo, I believe you. Like my brother's been doing this to you. It makes total sense now. I'm gonna go figure out how to get him committed."
Okay, because when that scene popped up, I was like, okay, now did this take place before Rudy went over to, talk to Kai, or was it afterwards? Because I was just trying to figure out if Rudy was trying to, like, he already talked to Allie when the show came on, and he was just trying to get in with Kai and whatnot, to try to get in good with Kai, because it seemed like Kai hit on the same outfit during first from the first scene and that scene right there when she told him what Rudy was trying to do. It seemed like he hit on the same outfit, and so like Rudy went to go visit him earlier that day, and then she came and to Rudy. I mean, then Kai went to Allie's and then said, "Oh, so that makes so much sense." Okay, anyway, but okay, but yeah, I'm glad that Allie is like ready to just go in, and she wasn't scared. She put her little thing just in case, because y'all say that she probably really was not trying to hurt him, but she don't know what they're trying to do. So they can tell her all day long, like, we're not trying to hurt you, but, and then she would have the right to protect herself in her household. So, but I was praying that something was that goddamn food, and that one of the bros would have ate it and he'd have dropped dead,
Oh
because
my
then she could
gosh.
easily, I was hoping, because she could easily took on both of them. She could stab the other one if he'd have tried anything crazy, and then she could have probably hit it all out with Kai, because Kai ain't gonna lift a finger unless he has to. So I don't know. I was praying because I hated the bros. I hate them all, and they're just grunts. But that's just. But yeah, so I thought it was a great scene, both scenes, and I'm just glad to see Sarah Paulson back, and I'm finna whoop everybody's ass in this scene mode.
Madison.
Oh, I'm just happy that she's back to, you know, essentially asylum.
Yeah.
Before all the crying and screaming Sarah Paulson, I was so done with that. I'm so tired of it. I was like, okay, here we go. Let's have another breakdown. Let's cry over something else. It was so annoying. So now that she's, piped up and she's about to do something and she has a plan, I'm ready for it. And I think with her motivation of her child, she's going to do whatever she wants to.
I like it. Yeah, I'm excited that she's back. She's ready to fight. And I have a theory on something a little bit later, so I will keep that to myself right now. But both of the scenes, the one with her and Rudy and the one where she was with Kai, I really enjoyed both of those scenes. I thought they were very, very well done and really interesting. And oh gosh, I mean, I think it's going to be awesome to see what they're going to be doing with Allie throughout the rest of the season, throughout these final couple of episodes. So, okay. We got to get into it. Okay. So, Winter heads on over to Kai's, or their house, I should say. You know, she goes down to the basement. And she complains about, you know, being in the kitchen, but he says, you know, Harrison was supposed to work in the kitchen, but, you know, they killed him. And so they
I
do.
laughed so hard at that part.
Oh,
Are you still upset about that? Like, can you just like get over it? Like, it happened yesterday. Like, it's fine.
it's so
Like,
funny.
I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You just killed one of your people, and just like, oh, you're still upset about that? Like, can't you just get over it? Like, what?
It's too funny. And so they do the pinky power thing, and you know, he talks to her about loyalty, and loyalty is needed, and he's about to like tell her her role in like the grander scheme of thing, but you know, they end up like halting the pinky power ritual, and she's like, well, you know, what's going on? You've never stopped in the middle of a pinky power. And basically he's like, you know, I want you to give birth to the Messiah. And he's like that he wants to be the father of the Messiah. And she's like, incest, we can't do incest. And he's like, no. Samuel's will be the conduit. So Samuel's will penetrate her, and then he will penetrate Samuel's, so that the Messiah can be his child, and so that she can remain pure, you know, unsullied by the act of incest. And so they get into robes, you know, they get their cult on, and it turns into this big to-do. They're all robed up. They're in the basement. They're waiting for Kai, and Kai tells them it's time of anointing, and that, he starts playing All for One's classic, I Swear. And he's like, you know, this will be a holy song now. This will be the song that will be used for the next Messiah. And I love the line of Winter because she's an actual, like, intelligent person. She's like, you know, there's only one Messiah. Like, there aren't like many Messiahs. And Kai sort of like shuts her down. And so both Kai and Samuels take their robes off, and she lays down. Kai kisses Samuels, and he starts following Kai's instructions. So Samuels is ready to get it in, but he can't, because he can't get hard. He can't get erect because he can't get erect with women. And Samuel says something to the gist of like, you know I can't, Kai. And Kai tries to explain, you know, this isn't sex, this is a ritual, and you need to penetrate first before I can penetrate you. And Winter isn't having it, Samuels isn't having it, and you know, Kai screams out, "No one is above the law," and you know, just the ritual ends up completely disintegrating. So let's pause right here because I'm sure we have a lot to say about this. So we'll continue on with what happened to Winter and what her quote-unquote punishment is in a moment. So let's talk about Winter and Kai and Detective Samuels. I swear. I swear, I swear. Mark, I know you have a lot of opinions about this.
I was so hoping to see what Priscilla and Madison had to say because, dude, when she sat down with him and he was like, I want you to have the Messiah, I want you to have the child, she was like, what? And I was like, wait, what? Because we know that he's the leader, and then and she was like, we can't do incest. She said, oh, no, no. Oh, no. It's not going to be like this movie with Samuels. And then I was like, oh, okay. But I'm like, that's not gonna work either because he's a gay. And then he was like, but I'm gonna penetrate him, and then he's gonna penetrate you. And I was like, okay, we have hit the pinnacle of batshit craziness on American Horror Story. Because I was like, if she actually says yes to this, I was just flabbergasted. I was like, what in the entire hell is about to go down? And then we actually see the scene, and he like they derobe and he cuts on. I swear, I screamed. I just fell out and just died. I was like, oh my
It's the new
God.
holy song.
It's the new holy song for every time that we have a Messiah. And then she was like, hell no, because I'm not gonna keep pumping out no damn babies and shit like that. And then but on top of that, yeah, you can't have many Messiahs. Duh, but really, she was like saying, you're not gonna keep doing this shit every 5 minutes. You know, that you decided we need to have a kid or something like that. So I was like, hell to the fucking no. I cannot believe they're about to do this. And then when she laid down and then I saw other things, but Kai was sitting there trying to get Samuels ready by, doing some other stuff outside of kissing him. And then I'm just sitting looking like, it felt like you were in the room with them. It's like you was like, this is awkward as hell. And so I'm at a loss for words right now. I'm very interested to see what Priscilla Metz got to say because I just want to get, cause I haven't heard of a woman's perspective about this situation. And I'm just very eager to hear what y'all have to say about it because I was too done and I'm still done. I have not recovered since last night, so.
Okay. Eeny, meeny, miny, Priscilla.
I knew I was gonna go first. Oh God, that fucking moment in the episode, it felt like you phrased it perfectly when you said it felt like you were part of that scene. Like everything just felt so awkward and just was like, why is this happening to me? Please just stop. Like continue this scene. And I just felt so bad for Winter, but in the back of my mind I'm like, wait, but she chose to be here. Like why did she say yes to this stupid idea of her brother's? This is like a bad idea, and I'm glad that at the end of it she just got up from the bed and was like, nope, not doing this. Not. And like I clapped when that happened because I was like, because I had enough of that scene too. I was like, what the hell is going on? Why would you let this happen to yourself? Like what? Like you should respect yourself like a hell of a lot more. Or furthermore, like even if you don't, like, you're smart, like there's only one Messiah. Like you're gonna make more Messiahs with "I Swear" in the background as a song. Like really, that's how it's gonna be made? Okay, sure. Like there has to be some skepticism to be played a part with here, and it really wasn't played a part of at all. I don't know. It's just that was just some fucked up shit. That was very much American Horror Story, and I was very glad that it got off my screen after a certain amount of time.
I know, right? The biological logic of the whole thing. I mean, come on, people. Like, that's not how things That's what is that commercial? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, Maddie Fitz. You had the pleasure of watching this with a parent. So
Oh my god.
you need to explain to us your thoughts on the scene and also, what was it like to watch it with the parent?
Oh god. Like, ugh. This is the thing with my family. We all love movies and we love TV shows. So no matter what, we're gonna watch whatever it is together, right? Because we don't have a lot of time together like during the week. So it's like if we're gonna watch something, we're just gonna watch it. Oh, you wanted to watch this? Okay, let's just watch it together. It's fine, whatever. Yeah. So that happened, and my dad's sitting there going, "What? What?" And I'm like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. And sometimes you just have to like talk through it, like make it awkward. You're like, that's so weird. Why is he like pouring that oil on him? Or like, why did he choose this song? That's so fucked up. Like, it's
Oh,
so
Maddie Fitz was
bad.
like asking questions. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Try to divert the awkwardness to just whatever. I don't know. Anyways, when we were watching it, I was like, the first thing that happened when they were sitting on the couch and they're just waiting there, and I'm like, they're cool with this. Like they're cool, they're okay with like what makes you in your right mind okay with this? You know what I mean? I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
why? And then when Winter was like, I feel like I'm being raped, this is something that you just made up like earlier today. This wasn't part of the grand plan. It was just something that you had an idea of. Like, it's so true. And, we hear more of that when Beverly talks later in the episode where she's saying you're just making things up as you go, day by day, because you actually don't know what to do. And it's so true because when was this ever part of the plan? When was this? How can this be created with world domination? Like what?
Mm-hmm.
So really, really, really weird. Um, I'm surprised that the detective wasn't really butthurt about his boyfriend being killed. And I'm so
I
glad.
love how you said butt hurt.
Yeah, he
No, and
wasn't
like
even
the
butthurt
whole
about it.
situation, it made me laugh. Sorry. I
Yeah,
am a child at times.
yeah, but he wasn't butthurt about it. He was just like, oh well, I guess I'll just screw Kai now, whatever. And I'm so glad that we got into it later how he was involved, like, or how he became involved in all this because I was wondering that from the beginning. I'm like, okay, so like, how did this like guy come in the cult? Because everybody else was explained but him. So, I don't know. Everyone's gonna die. That's what I'm getting to. Is everyone's just gonna die, and no one's gonna care about anybody else anymore. And I'm pretty sure the only people left are gonna be like Allie and maybe the kid, but that'd be it. Like Allie's just gonna take over the whole world, and that'll be it.
All right. Oh gosh, I don't even know what to say that hasn't already been said. But I mean, it was very uncomfortable. It was the scene like left me wanting to like bathe afterwards, to be quite honest, because it was just so. It was too much. It was unexpected. It threw me for a loop. The loop that Winter was thrown into when Kai was like Messiah. I was like, what? Um, just when you think American Horror Story like can't shock you, like you get this, and it was everything American Horror Story is and has been, and it really did sort of like take things to another level. Like we've seen sort of like kinky sexual stuff throughout the entire season, I should say throughout the entire series, back, all the way to season 1. And this was definitely, I think, the kinkiest American Horror Story has ever gotten. And that's saying a lot, especially when you had an addiction demon um, with a drill dough. Yeah,
Oh, hotel.
I know. All
Those were the
right.
days.
Yes, they were. When things were normal with a Drodo demon. Okay, so Winter's punishment. She is to not pick up trash by the side of the road. She is to trash up the side of the road.
I laughed so hard. I was like, wait, she's putting the pop cans on the grass, not picking them up. I'm like, are you kidding me? That's her punishment to litter?
Yes, because Kai does not believe in global warming.
It was so funny though. I was laughing so hard. I'm like, really? Really?
Yes.
That's horrible.
She's wearing an orange prison jumpsuit and a dunce cap, and her job is to trash up a, I don't know, whatever that, just a patch of grass, basically. And so Samuel arrives in a car. He calls her servant. He brings her food, gruel. And as I mentioned, her penance is to dispose of the trash on the ground. And Samuels has an apple, but he doesn't give it to her when she asks for it, telling her that, her punishment is to eat the gruel. And so we are recounted when Kai met Samuels. So Kai, I guess he stole a prescription pad of Rudy's, was selling fake prescriptions for drugs, and Samuels ends up catching him, but blackmails Kai into being his partner, 70/30, and Kai is to deliver the money every week to his house. So Kai enters Samuel's apartment, and Kai is unable to stay erect with a woman without strangling her. Like, he has to get very physical with the woman to achieve an erection. She calls him crazy, storms out, and Kai tells Samuels that he shouldn't have sex with women because women will steal his power. That he needs a man because with a man, the power gets shared, it goes through each other, and basically there is no net power loss. And so the two have sex, and I guess Samuel's, that's where Samuel's proclivity for men began. Winter calls him gay. Samuels is like, no, I'm not. It's much more complex than that. You'll never understand. And Winter ends up throwing the gruel at him, and he gets pissed off, and he starts to unbuckle his belt, and he's like, oh, you basically you're trying to question who I am. Well, I'm going to create the Messiah with you right now. And so he tries to rape her. She takes his gun, she holds it to him, and she goes into the whole scum manifesto thing. She tells him to call himself a turd, that Valerie Salinas was right, and when he doesn't go along with anything that she says, she shoots him through the head. Okay, let's pause right here. I was considering going into the final scene, but I feel like there's a lot to unpack right here. So let's talk about Winter, her punishment, Kai, and Samuels. Did you all notice that he had Nazi memorabilia?
Yeah, that was the first thing I
Yes.
noticed. I was like, are we not going to talk about this?
Exactly.
Yes.
The
hair now makes sense.
He's a cop and a detective, but his whole house is filled with nunchucks, knives, and samurais and Nazi memorabilia. Like, what? Excuse you?
Yeah, the hair makes total sense now. So let's break it all down. Winter and Samuels and Kai and Samuels. Let's start off with you, Madison.
Well, like I said, I was happy to figure out how Samuels came into the picture. Was not surprised. Dirty cop, obviously. So didn't surprise me how Kai and him met. I was laughing pretty hard the whole conversation with Winter and Samuels in the car because it was just pretty funny how he was like, no, man, like, I'm not gay. Like, it doesn't work like that. I'm like, yes, you are gay. Like, chill. And when she started talking about scum and like, say, you're a turd, you're a turd, I was like, oh my God. It was just really funny. And when
The
she killed him, it
ghost
was
of
no
Lena
surprise.
Dunham.
Yeah, literally. She's like, say it, you're a turd. I'm like, oh no, no. But at the same token, I was like, yeah, girl, like, this is it. It's going to be the women against the men. But also, well, not really anymore because she turned on her own, which is really stupid.
We'll get
But
into
that whole
that.
scene in the whole scene in the car, I really liked. Just because, Samuel, like, he was just okay with everything and he still was so, infatuated with Kai and actually believed in all the bullshit that he was telling him. And it's crazy how he was just so gung-ho about everything that he was saying, that he believed everything. It was so dumb. But yeah, I really want to know about the Nazi memorabilia and stuff. Like, why did nobody address it in the show? Was it just supposed to be there? Like, what?
Yeah, yeah, and yeah. I did not expect Samuels to have had some sort of sexual relationship with Kai, so that surprised me. It makes sense though if you think about it, like why Samuels is all up like about Kai. That they shared this moment, and Kai exposed him to a new world that he continues to visit.
Whole world.
A whole new world, a whole. Um, the Nazi stuff. I mean, I guess in my opinion, it just made sense with the hair, like the whole blonde haired, blue eyed, like Aryan type of thing. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's. I don't know. I don't know if because Colton Haynes, he likes to explore
Let's
with his
put that
hair.
out.
So I don't know if he already had like the platinum bleach blonde hair before this, or he got it specifically for the role, but it just fit in with sort of like the platinum bleach blonde hair, to be quite honest. Um, like Winter, like the whole situation was ridiculous completely. I mean, an orange jumpsuit, the dunce cap, polluting. I mean, it's so stupid. Like at one point, I'm getting ahead of myself in saying this, but at one point, like Beverly says, like you have no idea what you're doing. Like your whole, um, uh, whatever your choices change at a whim, like you don't make any sense. And I'm like, you know what, she's kind of right, because like this whole thing is just so fucking stupid. And like her being called a servant, being served gruel, I mean it's like a just like a stoner loner, that plays like video games all the time, is like trying to figure out like how to do punishments. And he's like, oh, I play this game, like they eat gruel, like, or I read this fantasy novel, they eat gruel, and they're called servants. Like it's like, I don't know, it's just like some buffoon that decides to like create some sort of society, and just he picks like the weirdest things for people to do and for people to be called. So I thought it was ridiculous, but it was like the right kind of ridiculous, because it goes into exactly how Kai has been acting from out the gate. He's very ridiculous, and there are a lot of parallels to things which I will discuss a little bit later. But Priscilla, what did you think of the info dump that we got on Detective Samuel's relationship with Kai, and Winter and Samuel's in the car?
I'm glad we finally got the information that we got on Detective Samuels on the background, because for the longest time I was wondering, why did the cops get involved in the cult anyway? Like, obviously this isn't some undercover work and he's not a good guy, like, so how did you get sorted into this mess? And now it makes sense. It's because he is involved with all of this toxic masculinity and all of this weird function. Like, I'm not gay, I'm just being trying out my masculinity and with other males instead of having it being seeped out by the female form. Like it's so stupid, and I'm so glad that the show brings it out this way because it just shows just how dumb that sounds when other people say it. It just it's great. Oh God, I love it. I love the Detective Samuel scene with him talking to Billy Lord's character because it was just like I don't know, it brought out the silliness and the silliness argument too, but both of them together just kind of just bring out the hilarity like in each other's arguments, and I'm glad at the very least that one of them is dead.
Well, there you go. Mark, what about you?
I like everybody on the panel said, I was glad to get a Samuel's flashback. I was kind of getting the theme, but I debunked that thing. I thought I was seeing the theme of like everybody who got a flashback end up dying because we get pretty much a Meadow flashback and she ended up dying, and then we got a Samuel's flashback and she ended up dying. But the thing that irks me the most is all the power that Kai has. It's not that she's councilman, and like nobody in the town is like calling him out on his shit. Like for one thing, you're going to. I'm sorry, I'm going back early episode, but you're going to bring in this blatant cult into a city council meeting with guns. Like really, and you all going to sit there and like vote yes. It's like did nobody thought to call the cops or call somebody, and then you're dumping trash on the side of the road. Was it not a cop that's gonna drive by there and be like, "What man? What are you doing? Is that a sanctioned suit? Who gave you this suit to wear? Like, what are you doing?" Like, so it just seemed to me that like that kind of took me out the episode just a tad bit. But when Samuels pulled up and he started talking to her, I'm like, dude, you're bottom tier. Like you're on bottom. Like why are you talking to her like that? That's like
Literally.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, very literally. Like you are very much on the bottom. So like you are here talking crazy to this girl, and then when she kind of like got and when he gave her the flashback, and you kind of saw like, oh, okay, it just made so much sense. I wasn't shocked. I was surprised, but I said it wasn't shocked because I said that sounds like how he became, part of the cult because he seems like somebody who doesn't have the power that he's supposed to have. Like when he said, "I can get any girl that I want," I can pull any girl that I want, because I got the looks and everything. But if you ain't got the tools, your looks don't mean shit. You know what I'm saying? So if your tools ain't working, so he was what's the word I'm looking for? His ego was snapped, like so. And I thought at first that it was gonna be like a blackmail thing, that why Kai got him in the thing, but Kai technically got in him. You know what I'm saying? Like literally in him, and that's what brought him into the cult. So yeah, but when Winter was like, I cannot remember. Did she mention about what happened the night before, or whenever it happened was like total bullshit? Like, how did they get to we need to do what Kai said? Because I know that he was intending on raping her to fulfill Kai's wishes, but even then, no, he was just trying to show her that he wasn't
Yeah,
gay.
he was like, I know a way that I can get it up.
And I'm sorry because I was thinking that she said something that kind of like infuriated him, but no, it was just a ego trip that he had. And again, he probably didn't think that through because don't you think that if he had raped Winter, that Kai would have had his ass killed any damn way? So
Well, yeah, because it would not have been the ritual. Because for it to be, this is so stupid. For it to be Kai's child, Kai has to be penetrating him. So technically, it would just be Samuel's child, and Samuel's child would not be Messiah.
yeah, but the fact that he hurt Winter.
Well, that
Period.
too. I agree with that. But
So he
yeah.
was dead as soon as he went and he lunged at her. He was dead one way or the other. Whether Winter was going to be the one to blow his brains out or Kai was going to probably had him sacrificed later that night or whatever. So yeah, it was a good farewell for Colton Haynes. You know, he played his part. He did his thing and everything. But now the only person left from the original, the only male outside of Kai left from the original cult is Gary Longstreet. And
Oh, he's down for the cause. They ain't killing his ass. He's loyal to the bone.
yeah, so I'm interested to see, how far he will go. If Beverly can be the one to take him out, somebody's going to take his ass out. He's down to the cause, but somebody's going to take him out. So
Yeah, I think so too. All right, let's get into the final scene of the episode. So we are in the basement. We've got all of our favorite clowns masked up, and Kai yells to bring the betrayers. And everyone in the cult starts chanting, "My ruler," and in are brought a hooded Rudy and Beverly motherfucking Hope. And so Rudy is, well, they're both, I'm trying to remember, they're both unhooded at the same time, or was Beverly left with the hood on until he spoke with her? Well, regardless, it doesn't matter. But the hood is taken off of Rudy. Rudy is like, please set me free. Don't do this, Kai. And Kai feels betrayed by the news that Rudy was trying to get him committed. And Rudy's like, I just wanted you to get healthy, basically. I wanted to help you. And Kai, talks to him about the Pinky Power ritual and how it was created because of them. And so Kai, does the Pinky thing with Rudy, and they end up, it seems as if things are headed in the right direction until Kai ends up using, those are like pruning shears, right, to like chop Rudy's pinky off. And so all of the clowns, no, I think only Winter unmasks herself, right? Because Rudy sees Winter there. Yeah, Winter unmasks herself at this moment. And Rudy sees her and recognizes her, obviously. And Kai ends up using, I think he uses the same pruning shears to slash Rudy's throat. And he's left to bleed out on the floor. And some of the bros end up taking Rudy's body away. So Beverly is ungagged, and she asks what she did. What did I do to deserve this? And Kai tells Beverly that Winter told Kai that Beverly killed Samuels. And Beverly says it's a lie, it's a bold-faced lie. And Kai ends up like poking the bear, basically like, no, it's the truth. I trust Winter. Like, you were unhappy, and we were equals, and this, that, or the other. And Beverly yells at Kai that basically he's a media whore, that he's insecure, that they were never equal, that he's proved himself to be a liar, and that he consistently flip-flops on everything that he sets into motion. To be quite honest, this felt very much like a critique on the current man in the White House, which I thought was very funny. It felt very meta to me, in my opinion. Everything Beverly was saying, you could immediately say about our current president. So anyway, and Beverly's like, if you believe Winter, then kill me, because basically you're a piece of shit. And so Kai says that death would be too good for her, that he had all these plans for her, that he saw her as an equal, that she was his favorite one. And so he orders some of the bros to take her to the isolation chamber. And then he addresses the rest of the cult, and he has everyone unmasked. So some of the clowns that we saw earlier in the season are no longer the same person. Or what I'm trying to say is the person underneath the clown mask isn't necessarily the same person that we saw earlier in the season, because obviously some of the cult members are no longer living, so some new individuals have assumed their roles in the cult. And he then welcomes the newest member of the cult, dressed in the clown costume that Beverly used to wear. And that person is Allie. And Ivy's face when Allie revealed herself was delicious. So good. Fuck off, Ivy. All right, let's get into it. Let's break down this final scene.
Jesus Christ, you are so bitter over Ivy.
Bitter party of one. I'll take it. I don't know. Maybe Matt is at the table with me. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But let's discuss this. Let's talk about the final scene. Let's talk about Rudy's fate. Let's talk about Beverly's fate. What the fuck is the isolation chamber? And what do you think it means for Allie to be a part of the cult? And I'll start it off, and I will say, Rudy, it was nice knowing you. Beverly, I want Beverly to get her revenge. I love Adina Porter, and so I love me some Beverly motherfucking Hope. So I hope, Hope. I hope that somehow she can escape. I hope that she doesn't get reprogrammed. I hope that she's ready to enact some sort of vengeance on Kai. We've already seen how Beverly joined. So if this whole curse thing that Mark described earlier of giving us a little bit of backstory on a character and then all of a sudden they die, I hope that does not happen to Beverly Hope. I'm curious to see what the hell this isolation chamber is. Is it like a torture chamber? Is it just throw her in the hole type of thing? What is this isolation chamber? And Allie, okay, I do not think she has sipped on the Kool-Aid. I feel like Allie has a master plan in her mind that she has created the past 3 weeks in the psych ward. Because, hey, Valerie created plans in the psych ward. Allie can create plans in the psych ward. And I feel like she is trying to be double agent-ish. And her goal is to get Oz. So she has infiltrated the cult to take down Kai, maybe. She's usually the final girl, so... Well, she wasn't last season, but maybe she'll go back to being the final girl again. Or maybe she'll team up with Beverly motherfucking Hope. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But I feel like she is not in it for the cult. And I do want to see her kill Ivy. But that's more so like a pipe dream. But anyway, Mark, what about you?
I screamed at the TV when that damn mask came off. I don't know why, because who else is left in the show that could have possibly been up under the hood?
Mayor Winningham?
No, she's dead.
I know. BB?
Okay, yeah. That would have been a good shocker because it would have showed, but I would have loved for them to get kept Beverly there. If they had been the case, if Beverly had stayed there, then I would have probably been like, yes, BB.
Yeah, but our girl is in trouble, Mark. You need to save her.
I told Beverly she should have left town.
Oh,
as soon as they sat there and been like, think about it. As soon as they sat there and been like, look, you finna cook for these dudes. Hell to the fucking no. I'm finna take up shop. I'm finna pick up my steaks and go because y'all are playing too damn much. And I'm finna start another branch of this bullshit. But when I saw Allie, I was like, oh my God, no. But when I saw the look on Ivy's face, I was like, oh, she's in here for the kill. You know what I'm saying? And so but see, again, it's kind of funny because Kai is so eager to get like again, all the low tier people have been taken out. Samuels, Meadow, Harrison, everybody except for Gary Longstreet have been taken out, and so he's elevated up new grunts to like to the upper tiers, but they're not like where Meadow is, Winter is. But Allie is he probably felt like I got her, you know what I'm saying? I got Allie now, so and I know that she's gonna probably end up taking out Ivy. So that I don't have to worry about that no more because he has Beverly, he has Ivy in his crosshairs. Excuse me. So, but he's screwing himself up because this is not the Allie that you terrorized for the first couple of months with all the shit. But this is somebody else, and you put
She's
her.
Rambo.
She's Rambo incognito inside your cult, and she's gonna take all y'all out.
She's the predator.
Because the only thing she wants is to make sure Ozzy is safe, and once she makes sure that he's safe, it's no holds barred. It's no holds barred after that, and so she's gonna just like go. And I believe that Ivy knows what Allie is capable of, and that's probably why she's probably like looking like, oh shit, I done fucked up. And I was ecstatic to see Allie. I was ecstatic after I realized what Allie's trying to do. That's why I said earlier, I felt that she probably told Rudy that she was gonna be with him because she didn't flinch. She didn't look like we didn't see her face though, but she like her body didn't show any like emotion when Rudy was there. So she's already okay with the bloodshed. So because the old Allie would be like, oh my God, no. Oh my God, why are we doing this? Is this what you guys are doing? But she was like,
Oh, that was so
okay.
good. It was like I was watching an old episode.
Yeah. So I'm happy that she's a part of the cult now because she's gonna take the asses down. Hopefully she has a damn video recorder or something like that because I think that while Kai is a year and a decade or two ahead of everybody else in that cult, Allie is on the same speed because now she's like, y'all, she's hit rock bottom and now there's nowhere else for her to go except for up. She's gonna take all the asses down. I'm all here for it.
Yeah. I think Allie's gonna take out Ivy, and I feel like, in my heart of hearts, that Beverly's gonna take out Winter.
I can see that because without Winter, Kai has nothing.
Yeah, I don't know who's gonna take out Gary Longstreet, but I feel like he's not one of the final people. So, no. Madison, what about you? What did you think of the final scene? Allie and the cult, Beverly and Rudy's punishments.
The punishment was hilarious. But when, Kai killed his own brother, that was kind of shocking to me because, he's so about family, about loyalty and stuff like that. And Winter was right there. So that's kind of a little shocking. And he's kind of setting boundaries of being like, look, Winter, look what I just did to our own brother. Like,
I could do it to you.
Exactly. So that was a little shocking. I was kind of upset that he died, but I wasn't surprised. He was becoming a little wimp. So there's that.
Because he was doing the right thing?
Yeah.
Oh
Like,
my
you don't
gosh.
do that in American Horror Story. Like, anybody who tries to be moral and, like, do
The
anything
Walking
right
Dead.
in life just ends
The
up getting,
Walking
like...
Dead rules.
Yeah,
If you're a
exactly.
good person on The Walking Dead, you die this season.
Yeah. And then the unmasking of Allie, that was pretty badass, but it was also, we know from all of the Hollywood movies, all of the TV shows, you do not mess with a mother and her willingness to find or be with their child, right? You don't mess with that. You know that bond is never going to go away. The mother is going to do whatever she wants and whatever she can in order to get her kid back. So I am not surprised that Allie is nutting up and she is going for the kill. The fact that she's going into the cult was a little weird, but it's so easy because now she's going to know everything. And I'm very, 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 very excited to see what Ivy's going to say because she say, oh yeah, sorry, I kind of joined this like club. It's like after school club. We do this thing with like blood and paint. Yeah. Oh, and I'm also banging the our babysitter. Yeah, sorry. Like,
Was
I don't
that
know how you
Canadian
can
Horror
explain that.
Story?
Yeah, basically. So, yeah, I'm gonna see how it goes, but I feel like Kai is just he's because everybody else has their own plan. You know what I mean? So we'll see.
Priscilla, what about you?
Man, I hope Beverly Hope has something, some scheme locked up in her mind, some trump card, something, because right now things look pretty dire. And right now, I'm thinking about Allie and just that look on Ivy's face when Allie unmasked herself. I was like, think think back to her the first episode, how Allie probably would have started fucking crying and breaking out into hives or something had she had to look at the clown costume, and now she wears one with no problem whatsoever watching someone die in front of her and not doing like those gasping sobs anymore. Good for you, Allie. You've finally grown up. Like you've finally become like an American Horror Story, like from a victim to probably a champion. I could see her successfully taking her son and leaving the cult. Now, whether or not she does that successfully, we'll see for in the next couple of episodes. But I would bet that Allie could do it now.
Look at you, Allie. You got Priscilla to believe.
Yay! The
Oh,
only thing I feel bad for is the therapist. I feel real bad for him. Like
aw.
the only real thing that he's got against him is that he was a shitty therapist. Like he's a shitty person in that like he never listened to anyone. Like had he listened to Allie, he probably would have figured it out that his brother's like a fucking crazy person. Had had he figured that out, he would have figured out that his brother was using his script. He would have figured out that the police are in on it from the very get-go, that this cult is bigger than he thought it was. Like, and he would have been able to stop it from the beginning, but because he didn't, gotta go. You gotta go.
But you would think that if Allie was still going to him and that knowing that Kai had become a public figure, that she would have told him the guy's name. Like the guy who's running for city councilman has been at my house. He's harassed me. He's playing mind games with me. And then Rudy has to know that, okay, my brother's running for city council. It seemed like he would have picked up on that way earlier. You know what I'm saying? But that just shows just how self-involved and the tunnel vision that he has
Mm-hmm.
with himself. Because I'm not saying that y'all, it says they're in Detroit, but I think they're in the suburb of Detroit, so, or Hamlet or something. So I'm like, it's not like you don't know who the fuck this dude is. You know this is your brother. And it seemed like to me, for instance, if I go into the doctor's office tomorrow, a psychiatrist tomorrow, it's like, yo, Donald Trump is just doing the absolute most. Or, Ben Carson is doing the absolute most. He's working my nerves. A name would have dropped. It would be like, yeah, I'm seeing clowns and this guy's.
You're dreaming
I'm
of
like,
Mitch McConnell.
yeah, stuff like that. Just a name would have dropped, and he would have been like, oh, you mean Kai Anderson? And he probably could have did it in a professional manner of like keeping everything like his face like a poker face, something like that, like slack. But then went and confronted Kai before they got a little out of hand. But like, yo, you need to chill out because you're screwing my patience. And I'm thinking that the stuff that she's describing, you might have access to that. So you need to stop, something like that. Because I'm pretty sure Vincent probably noticed that some of his prescription pads were gone or something like that. So I just think that he knows that Kai is up to no good, and he should have known. He should have been aware of it way earlier than um, he did this episode. But
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking that also to touch back on what Madison said earlier, I'm trying to figure out like how did he not also pin up the fact that you're all psychos. Your parents are right in their bedroom right now. Like, so if y'all okay with that, then how the hell you think that that would not have messed with the mental or the psyches of your brother and sister. Because he kind of brought that upon them. You know what I'm saying? He said, he's the one who sat there and said, let them rot up here because we have too much shit going for us and we need those checks. And it's kind of like he's the reason why they are all at that particular point in time, if you get what I'm saying. So it kind of like karma came back and bit him in the ass really hard.
Mm-hmm. It's very true. Yeah, I can agree with that. And any theories at all on the isolation chamber, besides it being a chamber where she's going to be isolated?
I'm scared. I'm something about that.
I know I'm scared for Beverly Hope.
I'm thinking it's gonna be like an isolation chamber. I don't think I'm not really scared that it's gonna be like particularly tortury.
I feel like it, like in the closet, all tied up,
Mm-hmm.
something ghetto like that.
Oh, okay.
Like the isolation chamber, the closet. You mean the closet, right?
And Gary
That's-
Longstreet is there and consistently puts his nubby arm in her face.
Oh God, stop.
Isn't that good though?
This just thought of that, just like, oh Jesus.
I know, it's gross. Like he rubs the nub on her cheeks, every hour or something.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to like say to anybody that might have a
nub.
A nub, but it's just the fact that he looks like he will be creepy enough to do some shit like that.
Yeah.
All Kai would say, like, just rub her nub all over her, just and make her unnerved. He probably, and I'm not finna, no, let me stop because it's already enough stuff in the world.
Mark, listeners, you can email your hate mail.
Do not do
to
that.
Mark at Mark.
No,
on
do
Twitter.
not do that.
Yeah.
Do that.
For his anti-nub stance.
It's not an anti-nub. Oh no, what about them being like they're on a farm? Just like they have a lot of property out there. So
yeah, it looks like they have a lot of property. When they did that scene where she said, "I'm Beverly motherfucking Hope," like that long pan in the front yard, it looks like a big ass property.
What if they got a silo out there? That might be the isolation chamber.
She's in the silo.
I'm just saying, I don't know. That's one to throw out there.
All right, let's get into the MVP, the most valuable player. Which character impressed you the most and why? The rules are simple. State which character impressed you throughout the episode and why. And if someone has already mentioned the character that you were going to choose, you must select a different one. So, as the Messiah, I have all the power, and I will bestow the very first MVP-age to Priscilla.
I have to go with Allie this episode. This is the first time I'm giving it to her because she stepped it up. She decided to finally stop being scared and to decide to face her fears full head on, to save her son, to save what's left of her life, to move on from the past. And I'm glad for it. I'm here for it. I'm here to watch more of it. Please don't cry anymore. Please, just don't cry anymore.
Mark, your MVP and why?
Ooh, okay. I have a backup just in case you shoot me for the one I'm about to say. I was going to give the MVP to Brian Murphy for this episode because how else can you come up with this like threesome, this incestuous threesome to the soundtrack of I Swear by All For One? Like that just seems like some shit that I can't even fathom. Can you imagine being in the writer's room that day when they came up with this shit? I don't know. That's who my MVP is, if I'm allowed to have it. That is.
I will bend the rules for you.
Okay. Because Priscilla already took mine.
Oh, okay. So that's why you're trying to cheat. That's so funny. Maddie Fitz, your MVP?
Well, like, there's only really one true one who really actually made a difference in the episode. And that would be Winter. But I don't want to steal that from you. I don't know.
Oh, I
want to see
wasn't going to pick
somebody else.
her.
All right,
So you can
well,
have
I'll
her.
go with Winter. I'll go with Winter then, only because I feel like that whole scene in the car with the detective was pretty badass. I'm not happy with what she was doing with Kai and how she's just letting Kai walk all over her kind of thing. But I was really, really impressed with the whole conversation, the whole car scene with Samuel. So yeah, my MVP is going to Winter.
All right. I have actually two MVPs. But I'm gonna go with the one that has the key to my heart. Beverly motherfucking Hope. Just for that scene at the end when she basically read Kai for filth. I loved it. I mean, I just am so enthralled by this character. And
Who was your other one?
to be quite honest, I would have given it to Pastor Rick Springfield. Just because I thought he did a really great job at playing the creepiness of Pastor Charles. I was really impressed. So I would have he was like my backup. But I feel too passionately about Beverly Hope because I really like that scene at the end with her and how she put Kai in his place. I really like that. So now it is time to rate the episode on a scale of 1 to 10 clown masks. The point system is allowed, and if you found the episode exceptional, deserving of more than a 10, you may grant it the coveted Twisty the Clown mask. And let's switch up the order. So, Madison, you may go first.
Honestly, I'd probably give it a 7. Only because it was really screwed up. And that kind of lowered it. Like the whole bedroom scene and everything in the haunted house was kind of just like, whoa, 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 what? Like it was so weird. But like it's American Horror Story. So that's where I'm like, okay, it deserves a 7 because it is so like screwed up that it's awesome. Like, you know what I mean? And just some of the things with the characters, just how, betrayal and loyalty and all that stuff, it's really, 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 declining, and it's also rising where we're seeing where people's loyalties lie and what their plans are in this whole cult, right? So I really liked the episode. I thought it was really, really, really weird, and that's a good thing because, American Horror Story is not, a nice reality show drama. It's messed up and everyone knows about it, right? You don't watch it and expect, oh, like what is going on? Well, this is just the normal stuff. It's not like it's a House of Cards or, Stranger Things. It's messed up. So it did a well job at being messed up.
Wait, this isn't House of Cards?
Oh shit, am I on
We
the
have
wrong
been on the
podcast?
wrong podcast for the
Oh my god, I'm on
past-
the wrong podcast the whole time?
I know, right?
Shit.
Yes. Mark, how would you rate this episode?
I will rate it, y'all know I'm an American Horror Story freak, so I'm going to give it an 8, only because that scene, I think this can go down as like one of the craziest scenes in American Horror Story history. And also for the fact that Ali is stepping her game up, and this cult is really on the verge of collapsing. We have 3 episodes left, so I'm trying to see whether or not it's going to collapse sooner than we expect, and then we're going to end up, with a denouement or epilogue or something like that. But right now, the stage was set for the end of this cult, and hopefully what happened tonight wakes up Winter. And I know there's just a lot of great reveals, but at the same time, a run-of-the-mill episode with a few crazy scenes, so it gets an 8. It's memorable, so it gets an 8.
Priscilla, 7, 8. What about you?
I'm giving it a 7. I completely agree with Madison. Like, in any other show, like those 2 scenes would have been like, what? Why? Like this is too like far out for TV. Like this is too gross. This is too much for something. But it's right there in like American Horror Story batting zone. But for the life of me though, I can't seem to like put my finger on why it's not higher. Like I think it's just because all of our people are just dying off, and we kind of expect them to die off now, and there's not really very many surprises coming out anymore, and the only reason like it's gotten like such a like a 7, like, and it's still high and not like a 6 or a 5, is because of Allie. For me, I feel like she's the only thing that's been like the surprise, the only thing that has come out as like, wow, she's changed as a character throughout the show's span. So yeah, a 7 for this episode.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna drop it. Twisty the Clown Mask from me. I really enjoyed this episode. Like,
What?
yeah,
Wow, you're
I
easy.
really enjoyed this episode. Hey, come on, I complained about Valerie Salinas last week, so that one, it was nowhere near the point score as what I'm giving this one. Um, yeah, I loved it. Judgment House, the incest light threesome, the shooting Samuels in the head, the Samuels backstory, Rudy and him not being complicit with the cult, Rudy dying, Beverly and her monologue, the alley twist, the alley scene with Rudy, the alley scene with Kai. I really liked this episode. I thought it was top notch. After last week's sort of, and I used the F word last week, filler episode with Valerie Solanas, this one, returned back to form, and I thought it was. You know what? Maybe I'm on a high because it was considerably better than last week's episode. But you know what? If I am on that high, then fuck it, I'm on the high because I really enjoyed this episode. Yeah, so Twisty the Clown Mask from me. So on that note, join us next time for a brand new installment of Are You Afraid, Cult? Once again, here's our announcer to remind you on how you can interact with us.
Follow Poppy Chula Radio on social media. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, at Poppy Chula Radio. Do you have any questions, suggestions, comments, or concerns? Email us via contact@poppychularadio.com. Are you interested in joining the Poppy Chula Radio team as an on-air personality? Email talent@poppychularadio.com. Binge listen to your favorite Poppy Chula Radio programs by visiting poppychularadio.com/archives. You can also download tonight's broadcast and the rest of the series through Apple Podcasts and Google Play. Just search for Are You Afraid, Cult, and subscribe.
Thanks, announcer. My co-hosts, please wish the listeners a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.
Night.
Thanks for tuning in. Download new episodes of Are You Afraid, Cult every Thursday via Apple Podcasts, Google Play, and the Poppy Chulo Radio archives. Good night. No one laughed? Fine.
I'm laughing. I
I
have
was
a back
just shaking my head.
Okay, thank you.